chilling, 11 at night in New York time. What about you? You finished training?
Yeah, I've been done training I trained 3 times today, so I'm just chilling out now.
Man, you train more than me and half of these guys in this world. You great.
True that.
How you been, sis? What's new? What's new with you?
So today was the fight announcement, March 5th, pay-per-view on Fight TV. My first pay-per-view card against Marie-Eve Dicaire, champion, and she's 17-0. And that's kind of what it is right now.
Yeah. It was about time they put respect to your name, not just to your name, but just women's boxing in general. Like, how do you feel, right? This event's supposed to be all women's, right? All women's event, boxing event, right? Like,
Yeah.
who came up with this idea? Was it you, you know, putting it out there to the promoters, or how did this come about?
I've always told my promoter, like, I'm pay-per-view worthy, and my promoter believed that, but we always thought we would get we would get the chance on the Elite Boxing Network, like Showtime, pay-per-view, or ESPN, but it never came to fruition. Like, I got high numbers on pay-per-view. I got a lot of viewers and people to tune in to fights, and still was never pay-per-view worthy to them. So,
Mm,
but I've always told them, like, we're gonna have to branch out and do our own thing, because they keep putting this top on us, keep putting this top and putting us inside this box, and we've been outside that box for so long now. And I think that right now, of course, the fight is the main concern, but it's also a new avenue of just having, like, the numbers. Like, my goal is to just get 150,000 pay-per-view buys, not for monetary wise, but to show Showtime that their last male fight was 125,000 buys, and that was both Charlos.
yeah.
And I love Charlos. Don't get me wrong, but how are some of these fighters pay-per-view worthy, but I'm not? And I
Yeah.
have double the accomplishment, double the Olympics, gold medals, but still I'm not pay-per-view worthy. So I'm just wanting everybody to tune in to Fight TV, buy the pay-per-view. It's $29.99. The link will be available tomorrow. And it's with 2 undefeated women fighters.
Yeah.
You know, um,
And, yeah. Sorry.
you
Sorry about that.
I'm 10-0, Marie-Eve Dicaire 17-0. And then we got some heavyweights who aren't regular women heavyweights. You used to seeing heavyweight girls who are kind of fat and chubby. I mean, this girl is stacked like she Muhammad Ali. Danielle Perkins is tall. She's strong. She's fast. She's a real heavyweight.
Yeah. Would you consider this accomplishment as one of the things, like a bucket list of yours in your professional career? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make this a successful event.
Yeah. When did you know that you was ready for this position that you are? Because at the end of the day, you mentioned about, you're starting it off, right? You saying 150 pay-per-views as a headliner, right? Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
starting it off. So do you like when you have this high expectations, or like you want to set this trend for female, like women's boxing? Like, what pushes you to do all this?
I would love to just be able to get in the ring and fight like the men, not have to worry about the numbers, and stuff like that. But also too, carrying women's boxing on my back, like, I feel like this is gonna start a trend. And the trend will be, you can't pay a women boxing champion 100,000 when she can make 300K off of just pay-per-view buys alone. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to show them that we're worth what we've been asking for and what we've been demanding, and that we need equal TV time, equal opportunity, equal pay. And just to show them that even though they said that we're not worthy enough and women's boxing don't have fans, this is going to be a whole new way to show them, like, whoa, she do have fans, and so do my opponents have fans. And when we come together, this is what we can do. So either the boxing networks are going to see this and be like, whoa, like, we need to get on board, or they're going to see this and say, oh, we're going to, let the women just branch off and do their own thing,
Yeah.
which either or is a win-win for us.
Okay. Okay. you're fighting in your hometown, right? Flint, Michigan. What's the, I mean, I know due to COVID, is there a capacity private event? Is it like, what's the capacity level if fans are allowed to your event?
I have no idea right now. I know it may be a few fans, but I'm not really sure on like how many. I'm actually gonna let my manager and them deal with that and let me know. And then when you let me know, I'll let everybody else know and put links out. But for right now, um, pay-per-view buys. Somebody said Marie Eve DeCare knock you out. That's cute.
In regards to the networks, is this like a one-time deal, or is it like do you have like a, is there a contract with this network, or?
Now that I know of, I know that they have some very honorable guys that work for Fight TV, and they've been wanting to work with us for a very long time. But we were, like I said, I fought on HBO, I fought on The Zone, I fought on Showtime, Showbox. So I always had like other things I had going on, but I always wanted to fight pay-per-view, and that
Mm,
was my goal. And even if I wasn't the headliner, I always told Showtime, like, put me on the undercard of Errol Spence, put me on the undercard of, Manny Pacquiao, Deontay Wilder, Gervonta Davis. Even though I felt Gervonta Davis isn't really worthy of me to be on the undercard of him, he's a good fighter. Like, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to accomplishments, I've accomplished 4 times, 6 times more than him. So, but still, I gave them that option,
yeah,
and and they still just, oh no, we have this for you, or we have that for you, and I don't know. It just kind of like they didn't really have any say so. If you ask me, I don't know. I don't know who's in charge. Like the boss isn't the boss.
got
Yeah,
you. Okay.
so
In regards to your accomplishments, you know you're there to be great, to step in the MMA world. From a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say about your progression in the crafts of MMA?
right now,
Yeah,
I can say my progression every day is like at a 10. If
okay,
they teach me something, I learn it, I practice it, I take notes on it, and we come back the next day. We refresh it, we do it again. The coaches are very happy, very happy. Today, well, I've done 2 sparring, kickboxing sessions, and then now we're going to pick it up and start, doing like the full MMA stuff. But just learning how to, I already knew how to kick and just getting the kick form. But now after you throw kicks, you also have to know how to block kicks and block knees and stuff like that. So I'm learning that stuff right now.
yeah. How important is it to work with world champions like Holly Holmes and John Jones during
Well,
this?
it's great to work with Holly Holm because she has a boxing background. So we have conversations of like, this is how boxing is, but this is the difference in MMA. It's a whole different stance. It's a whole different game plan. It's a whole different art of war. Because boxing is an art of war. It's just with your left and your right hand.
Correct.
The art of war for MMA. Just a whole different mindset of things you have to look out for. And I have to break some of my habits when I'm doing MMA boxing. But when I say break them, not do them while I'm doing MMA. But when I get in the ring and I box, my form is still going to be the same. I'm
Mhm.
just having to differentiate, boxing, MMA, and knowing which side to make click for the
Yeah,
day.
especially the stance, right? Because for MMA, you're more wider, correct? In regards,
They're it, and it, they're more wider. They're more wider. It depends on what you're doing. If
mm,
you're outside bouncing around, they're closer. But when you're on an inside fight, it's more of a boxing stance still.
got you, got you. If you may, what is one of the, what a great memory or a funny story with either Holly Holm or John Jones while this your new ventures in the MMA world, or
Um,
guys, or conversation.
it's so many, and it's a lot of personal stuff. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Like me and Holly had Sunday dinner, and me and Johnny, we text often, or like if I see him, like today he tried to meet me. You know what I mean? Like crazy. I'm like, and I talk a little smack to him about how I beat him in boxing and stuff like that. But I mean, I just feel like when we did our dance video, like that was the most fun thing to me ever. Like people only saw that video, but we was in there practicing that for 3 to 4 hours.
Oh,
Before
really?
like a lot of laughs, a whole lot of mess ups, and then Johnny came. We had to get him together, and it was just fun, like doing that, showing that we're still like we're hard workers, but we're still training, and we like to have a good time.
Okay, okay. For 2021, like I said, I know it's early, but in your world, like, March 5th is a boxing fight, a championship fight. After that, would you like MMA and then boxing, or how are you planning out your 2021?
Boxing, MMA in June, boxing, MMA in like August, November.
Okay. So that's what, 4 times, 4 fights in a year, right? Okay,
There'll be
okay.
2 fights each.
Okay,
If,
okay.
if I can get 3 fights in boxing, that would be lovely too. But
Yeah.
like I said, I don't really know. Um, who do I want to fight after Marie Eve DeCare? And I
Okay.
would love to rematch Hannah Gabriels. Whichever fight can get made first. But
Yeah.
me being a kind of bigger stature, I like fighting at 160. I'm only fighting at 154 to make the history. But it depends on the opportunities that like that come after. If I vacate my 160 belts or if I vacate the 154 belts, and that's gonna be a big decision for me. And I'm gonna do what I want to do with that. But I would love to fight against Hannah Gabriels again. I would love to fight against Savannah Marshall in the pros. I honestly want to fight her to get my WBA belt back that she just won because it
Yeah.
came up at 160. But either or, I'm going to be undisputed at either weight class. So after the fight, I'll definitely have have a couple days to choose which title I'm giving up. And I really feel like I don't know which. It really depends on who's next
Yeah.
on like.
All right. I mean, I know for 2020 there was a lot of, some ups, right, and a lot of downs, right? But it seems like your generation of fighters have been dominating the spotlights, right? The Shakors, the Devin Haney's, the Gervonta, the Ryans. Like, how do you feel that they're making a lot of noise in the boxing world, and then all these type of fights that are getting marinated, the Tank, the Ryan, Teo versus Haney. Like, what do you think about all that?
I think it's great for boxing. I feel like we're in an era where like the best will fight the best because those guys are super young, and it's not like I feel like who's super older, Lomachenko. So he's out the equation for right now. So now you have all young fighters who are world champions. So
Mm,
now you got that. It's like, all right, these guys want to fight each other. They want to take each other belts. They want to prove who's the best right now while they're not even in their prime yet.
yeah,
I feel like Ryan is coming into his own. Gervonta to me is like a powerhouse. Teofimo has power and very, 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 very skillful. And then we have Shakur, who to me is top dog. Like, oh no, and I also can't forget, Devin Haney. So those guys are skilled or whatever. But to me, and Devin Haney has great work ethic, always in the gym. He don't drink, he don't smoke. I mean, this dude is like clean. Same thing with Shakur. And I would just say, like, to me, Shakur is like top dog to me, But then right under him is Devin Haney, and then we got Teofimo. Teofimo and Gervonta Davis is kind of like it's like a tie to me.
mm,
And to me, Ryan is at the bottom because he's the youngest,
got you.
and he fought against those guys in the amateurs and he lost to them. So it's like he's still coming to his own though. He got a great coach. He's working alongside Canelo, and working alongside greats make you greater.
Correct.
Because you're in the gym and you're watching them hit the bag. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
So and even just Ryan Garcia knocking out Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell has fought some wars and has
yeah,
not been knocked out. But the young stud goes in there and gets dropped second round, gets back up, and knocks him out. Like, thumbs up to that. Showed he
yeah,
got heart. Still got a few things to work on, but it's gonna be super competitive, and I feel like all those guys will fight each other. And I
yeah.
don't know whole Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight is even real. Is it?
Yeah, they're doing a hell of a great job at using each other's name and trying to at least make it happen, you know. But
I think that's what it is. I don't really think that they're going to fight. Not
okay,
right now, anyway. I feel like that was the best time to just kind of bait off each other and build each other up. But I don't think they're going to fight right now.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Would you say that that fight needs to happen now? And I'll give you an example because I don't want to compare the magnitude of a Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. And like, for example, right, some of the big fights that should have happened but never happened was Mikey Garcia Lomachenko, right? Jamel Charlo and Jarrett Hurd. You know, I could think of other fights, great fights, right? Super fights in the weight class, but never happened. So do you feel like it needs to happen just to please the fans, or should it just marinate a little more? Like, what would you say to that?
I feel like you're saying that both fighters should fight while they're undefeated. That's what you're asking me, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want one of the guys to be not undefeated when they fight because it'd be more attraction with them being undefeated. But I just, I think that it should marinate just a little bit more, a year or two.
Okay.
I would like, I would like to, I would like to see Ryan develop more, and
Mm.
I also like to see um, Gervonta have a clean year. You know, not just inside the ring, but also outside the ring. He's been doing a good job so far.
Yeah.
But have a fighter's year to where he's fighting, he's training, he's focused, and then he's taking care of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing is an art, right? Something you dedicate yourself, right, to very at a very young age, correct? Um, I think about Mayweather and Logan Paul, right? The event. I don't know if it's still going on. Who knows what's going on with that event? I know it's next month. Um, where do you think it's like enough is enough in terms of, you know, like YouTube boxing or celebrity boxing, fighting pros? Like, where does this end? Like, until somebody gets hurt. Like we seen Nate Robinson, it was bad. That's my homie, and he got hit bad.
I did see that Nate Robinson fighting. What I will say is that he got set up for that. He never really been in the boxing ring before. They had him looking good on the pads. He never did boxing before, and he barely even sparred. And he gets in the ring with Jake Paul, who's had a few fights already. One with headgear, I believe, and one without. You know, but he's been in the gym training, and I don't know. I can't even name to you who Nate Robinson coaches were.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even know
But
either.
but you know, Logan Paul working in the gym with Shannon Briggs and so
That,
and with some other good fighters.
yeah,
So even though to me Nate he don't want to put the blame on his team and say, oh, it was his fault. He went out there and did his best. He did go out there and do his best, but it's definitely his fucking team fault.
yeah,
That's me
yeah.
being honest. Like they knew he shouldn't have been in there. That was his first time ever experiencing getting hit, getting inside the ring with him,
Mm,
and it ended terribly, terribly. But I will say, about the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight.
yeah,
Listen, Floyd did a lot before. He did a lot for boxing. He can do whatever he wants.
yeah,
He can do whatever he wants.
yeah.
Um,
Because
if he want to fight against people and do exhibitions and stuff, he is worthy. He fought the best fighters. He beat them. He rematched people who wanted him to rematch. Speaking of Maidana,
yeah,
he is just a great fighter. So, to me, Floyd can do whatever the hell he want to do, and I'll be there to watch because he's such a great fighter to me. So, I actually enjoy the exhibitions, like the ones with the actual fighters, like Floyd versus Conor McGregor was all right. Um, Tyson versus Roy Jones was cool. I love that whole event. Just like they had the music, they had Snoop Dogg. It was
yeah,
like a laid back. I'm like, man, this is cool, you know. And now you got Floyd versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul isn't to me worthy to get in the ring with Floyd, but once again, Floyd can do whatever he wants. So he gets my approval and hope he beat the shit out of
yeah,
Logan Paul, so he can quit talking shit to real fighters, him and his brother.
yeah. Would you say that for me, right? I made a post not too long ago about Floyd fighting Logan as I don't accept that it's a real fighter versus a YouTuber, but the fact that I didn't mind it, the fact that Floyd is retired for, I would consider, right, his last real fight was against Andre Berto, which was 2015. Like, I consider that Floyd's like real last fight, like his real last.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, he fought McGregor 2017, and then all these other exhibitions. So I wasn't really mad about it. I know a lot of people are outraged currently, right? But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like you just said, the man paid his dues. He dedicated himself to this profession for over 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully it still happens, right? I do want to talk about Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. Um, I do have a tough question for you because I know you're cool with T Bud and you're cool with Errol Spence. Who deserves who deserves a fight with Manny Pacquiao the most? Like between Errol Spence or Terence Crawford? Like who
They
deserves
both.
Manny Pacquiao most? Crawford?
No, I think it's pretty even. I feel like both those guys have fought against tough fights to get to where they are, and they have a common opponent, as in Kell Brook. Both of them knocked out Kell Brook, to me, he's a hell of a fighter. Um, if anything, if Pacquiao really wanted to fight Terence Crawford, he could have fought against Terence Crawford when he was signed to ESPN.
Mm, okay.
And those talks were in the works, and then all of a sudden disappeared. I feel like Pacquiao, he called the shots, and he wasn't even saying Errol Spence's name or nothing until after this accident. And now he's seen Errol Spence come back, and now he said something about, I think I saw something where he said Errol Spence too slow to
Yeah.
beat him, something like that. I saw,
Yeah, he did say that he was too slow. Yeah.
and that's what I read. I'm like, oh, I like Pacquiao, but Earl looked real good his last fight. You know,
Hell
I
yeah.
just he just was coming on. He's coming off an accident. He still got to get the mechanics right. And like I said, he went for it. He threw his punches. He fought. He fought kind of the same. I
Mm.
would say like I just felt like he kind of. I don't know. I felt like something. It was just one thing that was missing, and I really couldn't put my finger on it. That's why I was gonna call him and talk on the phone and get it and
Yeah.
get the info from him. But I think they're both equally worthy to fight against many Pacquiao.
Okay. I would say about I feel like the ninth or 10th round, he could have really put some hurt on Danny. Not to say Danny would have been dropped, but I felt like um Errol had the opportunity to switch the gears and like really hurt him and maybe like TKO, like the ref could have stopped the fight. Like that's just my opinion. Like I just felt like he.
I mean, Earl Spence could have TKO Mikey Garcia,
Yeah, yeah,
but I feel like you have this fighter, and he considers himself the boogeyman, and also Mikey Garcia is coming up from a smaller weight to a higher weight, and Mikey Garcia was saying he can just outbox Earl Spence. He see flaws, and
yeah,
then Sugar Ray Leonard is going for Mikey Garcia. So I don't think that Earl Spence was really even going for the knockout.
yeah,
I think he wanted to show Sugar Ray, who was actually one of his idols. He wanted to show him like I can box real good. I don't gotta go out here and smash this little dude up.
yeah.
I can go out there and I can use my skills. And I feel like that's what he did, because the way he was putting a hurt on Mikey Garcia, I'm like, man. And just like you would just like see him kind of lay off and chill, use his jab, but whenever you wanted to get him, he like, all right, I want to beat him up now. But to me, he didn't break him down. Like he was like, oh, he was kind of, to me, he carried him to
Mhm.
me,
Okay.
and that was for his own reasons. Now, as far as in who else, Danny Garcia just tough as he tough as hell,
Yeah.
and he landed some good shots himself. And we seen that he was kind of just holding his power. He was holding it back to the last round, and he was letting it go. And I think that if he would have done that more, it would have been a more competitive fight. But I think that Errol Spence strength had him like, hell no, I don't want to fire and then get countered and caught with a shot. So
Mm.
I think that it really depends on like who you fighting. But I would love to see Errol Spence or Terence Crawford beat Manny. I mean, fight Manny Pacquiao. I give both of those guys the win, honestly. I think I think Terence Crawford will go in there and Manny Pacquiao will be trying to run forward, and I think he would run right into something, and Bud would probably knock him out. And then even with Errol Spence, he just walk him down. He let him punch at him, and he fire. So I just think that the only guy who I thought really gave Errol, only guy who I think can give either guy a problem is Sean Porter, and that's because of his awkward fighting style, him coming forward, football linebacker. You know, he's gonna come forward and he's just rough.
Yeah.
That's against any fighter. So I think he would. I think him and Terence Crawford would be a good fight, even though him and Errol Spence fought, and I think that him and Errol Spence too will be a great fight.
Okay. Okay.